Hey, what's going on? I'm Sam, and today I'm going to try something a little different. I was going to live stream, but I'm just going to do a longer format video and just take it from here. So to start with, what I'm doing is just setting up some live food cultures. I ordered these vinegar eels and grindle worms online for my fish. So I'm going to set up a culture to start getting these growing. And they came with instructions, which is pretty cool. I know the gist, but just to make sure I do everything right, I will follow the instructions. So it says start with a quart of undistilled apple cider vinegar and a quart and a half of aged tap water and an apple. If your water's hard, put more apple cider vinegar, which I have hard water, but I'll probably end up using some soft water anyway. So I'm going to build this culture right here in this apple cider vinegar container. And to do that, I will dump the extra into this empty white vinegar container, which I'll probably actually end up making another culture in here anyway. So what we'll do is we'll just get rid of most of this. It says about half a quart. That's more or less half a quart. We gotta add the water, we gotta add some apple. I have the apple right here, and what I'll do is I'll go add this water and slice the apple, and I will be right back. And I'm back. I ended up filling 2 containers with the water apple cider vinegar solution, just so that I have extra in case one of these cultures crash, though it might take a little bit longer for the cultures to get started. I was thinking about starting one of them in a smaller container, but it looks like I'm just going to go for it in these 2 1-gallons. So anyway, I am going to put in the apples, which I also sliced, and it had said, what was it? Cut a apple into 6 sections. I probably did more than that, so I will put in, is it saying put the whole apple in there? I think it wants the whole apple. Okay. This is a pretty big apple, but I guess I'll just use the whole thing. Doesn't quite fit in here. So we'll slice it up a little more to make it go in. I think I used a pretty big apple, so maybe I'll just put half in this one and half in the other. That's probably safe enough. So I'll start putting some in this other one as well. And then once I got all the apple in here, it's time to add my vinegar eels, which aren't actually eels, they're like a little tiny worm. And I'm going to start feeding my fry that instead of the micro worms, just because the vinegar eels will survive longer in the water column, and I don't have to worry quite as much about overfeeding and having dead worms in the bottom of the tank. So I think they're a worm. They might be some sort of parasite, but they're definitely not an eel. I'd have to look that up again. So anyway, I got my apple cider vinegar water apple solution. I gotta get a piece of cloth on here. I have cheesecloth. I might just use some filter floss and put it in. I'll grab that a little later. But it looks like I can add this vinegar eel culture. It's a really tiny culture, and the eels are really, really small, but if you focus and look real close, you can see them swimming around. So I'm just gonna add these guys in. And, oh, he sealed it really nicely. That's pretty cool. Let me make sure I can still see him. Yeah, they're swimming around. They look pretty good. So I'll just take a razor blade and nick the corner and just kind of squeeze a few into each container. And it looks like I put them all in one container. So I'll try and get a few in here at least. But it looks like this will definitely be my starter culture. And this might be a backup depending on how many, if any, I got in there. I'll add some water and maybe rinse them back out too. Yeah, I might have lost them all, but that's okay. At least one culture going. For the guy who I bought these from, it was super cheap and affordable, so if I ever did need more, I had no qualms about ordering more from him. Like I said, I'm putting the caps on now loosely, but I will have to put a cloth over top. And now we will set up some grindleworm cultures. Let's move these out of the way. And get the trash out of the way. And now, grindleworms. So these guys came in a bag like this with, it looks like coconut fiber and a little mat. I saw them squirming around a while back. I think they're probably still in here, but can't necessarily see them right now. But they should be fine. So let's look at the instructions for these guys. Oh, I forgot I had put brine shrimp in here. This was the container I was going to use. What I'll do is I'll put these in here. I just harvested these a little bit ago. And rinse this out, get all my brine shrimp in this container for feeding. And now I have this container available for making my bed. So I'll feed those in a little bit. And let's see. There's several ways to culture grindleworms. Tight-fitting lid, solid, non-see-through container. I'm not quite doing that, but I'll figure that out a little bit later. I'll probably put it in a dark place or something, but doesn't matter too much for now. I just need to get them out of the shipping container. So 2 inches of peat moss to my container. It looks like I'm starting with a container that's a little too small for what they're telling me to do, but that's okay. I can just put them in for now and get them something else later. So it says you can use expanded coconut fiber and add water to make it damp. So we'll do this. Though it is really compacted. I'm not quite sure how to get this out without wetting it. I'm just cutting it with a knife, which might not be the best solution. I've never had any reptiles, so I've not really had a reason to use this stuff before. But I'll just slice some. I don't know how to use this. What's the directions here say? Place it in a large container, add water, and let it sit. Well, I didn't want to get the whole thing wet, so I'm probably going to continue my just slicing and dicing. So just kind of slicing. This is not the right way to do this. Whatever. I'll add some water. Make it damp. Kind of see what's going on. I've never used this stuff before, so I have no idea what to expect. Wow, it actually expanded pretty good. And it ate up all that water. I thought I had put in too much. But that little amount I put in here is actually expanding good enough that I think with the bedding the culture came with, the starter culture, I'll almost have 2 inches. So what it says is once you add the coconut fiber, you add your grindleworms, just add it directly in, don't even stir it. And then I'm going to be feeding mine dog food since I have that readily available. So I got this old culture here. There should be some worms in here. I'm going to let them settle up, put them in a nice dark place for now. And sooner than later I'm going to get a bigger box, a dark one like they'll like. But for now I just wanted to get them out of the shipping bag because I'm pretty sure they were not comfortable. So now that I got my 2 culture set up, I will move on to the next project for today. And I need to get a car battery from Rural King. I'll go do that real quick. I need to cook dinner. And I probably got to do a couple things with the boat. And I'm going to re-landscape one of the fish tanks. So now that these guys have some air holes, I'll put them over here where it's nice, dark, and quiet, where they hopefully will start just being very happy and making more worms for me. And yeah, I'm going to clean up and move on to the next task. Here we go. And why I have these extra brine shrimp, I'm going to feed them right now. So you guys can see how they like them. Brine shrimp are their favorite things. This is my 75-gallon tank, and I'm just going to pour this whole container in. And you'll see these guys start to go crazy. The brilliant rasboras and the platies really love the baby brines. The mollies also kind of go crazy for them, though I only have 2 mollies in this tank right now. There were actually a few more brine shrimp left over in there than I thought. But those were yesterday's brine shrimp, and I'm getting rid of them because I have today's brine shrimp for all the fry. You can see the, what are those, black skirt tetras going after them too. They really love them. The Gara rufia are just little big boys on the bottom. There's some catfish down underneath there that are always hiding. There's an upside down cat that I never really see, and a few little plecos that also like hiding. But for the most part, I do really like this tank. It's one of the tanks that I come and sit at the most often, just because I have the variety of everything, and it's probably my biggest, if not only, community tank. Let's see if we can find anyone else. These guys are getting really big. They're lazy, and they are really funny to watch. Well, I gotta get going, so here we go. Next activity. Okay, so I just sold a Bowflex, got a little bit of extra cash from that. I think now I gotta go to Home Depot, get a couple parts to fix up my boat. I was supposed to go look at a motorcycle to trade my boat for tonight, and it looks like that might not happen. I still have some cash offers. They seem a little too low for what I'm willing to take. There's a guy who wanted to trade me a Jeep Cherokee. It's an off-road rig, and I'm pretty interested in that. So if this bike doesn't work out, I'll go look at that off-road rig. Well, actually, he'll come bring it to me because he's in Tennessee and about 5 or 6 hours away. What do you think about that, Gryffin? So we're going to run to Rural King. Gryffin will go in, get his treats, and that's going to be about it for stuff today. I have a few small things left to do after that, but let's go get some parts, bud. You look like you're bored at me. Okay, let's go. Okay, we're at Rural King now to get some hardware. Gryffin loves it here because he gets some treats. So let's go get this stuff real quick. Come on, buddy. Oh, you're taking care of it. Come on, let's go. Where you going? Who's that? Who's that?
Hey! I haven't seen you in a while.
Hey, buddy.
Hold on, let me get you.
You want a treat? You know you get a treat here? Yeah, good boy. Waiting for your treat. Good boy.
Good boy.
Thank you
Don't
very
eat my
much.
whole hand.
Good boy?
Let's go.
Oh, what is it? Is it another one? Good
I
boy.
haven't seen you in here in a while.
Yeah, we've been busy.
Busy? What? Here.
Oh, are you so shy?
Oh, no, you know who I am.
You're
Probably
so
just
shy.
so scared because.
So skittish.
Oh, yeah. Just had to pull it.
Still,
What? What?
still a little shy.
What?
Good boy. No, it's me.
He's like, what?
Good boy. Yeah, getting more, buddy. What is that?
You know how to shake?
You know
Okay,
what?
so whoop.
Hey,
Oh, baby,
quiet.
it's okay, honey.
Yeah, he's still a little head
Aw,
shy.
it's okay.
Quiet. You're good.
Aww.
Can you sit and be nice?
Shake. Oh. Here, try
Gryffin,
that one.
You're giving yourself a
Here,
bad
here,
name.
shake. Shake, paw.
What are you doing?
Giving me a high five.
Yeah, I don't know. What am I doing? I like food. You're a good boy.
Tell me that doesn't look.
Okay, now that you got your treats, let's go get my stuff. I know there's dog food. We're well behaved in all the other stores, but we go to Rural King and we freak out, right, Bobby? What are you doing? You gotta stay up with me. Come on. What are you going to do? Look at how happy you are, my boy. Okay, bud. I think we're almost here. And let's go. What are you doing? Get over here. Okay, we'll get a couple of these pins and we should be good to go. Here they are. So we're done shopping at Rural King. Gryffin got his treats. I got all the hardware I need for the boat. It looks like the guy was gonna trade the boat for the bike for back down. So I'm talking to the guy with the Jeep Cherokee. I think I'm gonna go and try and get that. But for now, I gotta go to the shop, get a couple plants that I need to ship out tomorrow, Monday morning. And I'm probably gonna do a little bit of rearranging and cleaning in that aquarium because it's looking a little empty and it's been neglected. So let's go get that done. You ready, Gryffin? Let's go. Whoa, okay, I'm at the shop now. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clear off the duckweed from the top of this aquarium because I have a duckweed order that I'm gonna order. I'm going to clean out the filter intakes because those look hilarious with all the stuff growing on it, duckweed and maybe some hair algae. We're gonna take out all of the fake plants and decorations except for maybe that tree. That tree looks pretty cool, but we'll get rid of the submarine and all of that. Then we'll do some aquascaping, redo some of these plants, move them around. I brought some plants from home. And we also are going to clean the aquarium because it got really dirty on the bottom. So yeah, let's just get started. Okay, we're just going to start messing with this. I'm going to start with getting rid of all the duckweed on top just because there's so much. And it looks like with all the, what is this stuff? Oh wow, there's actually a lot of duckweed. But the water sprite is getting in the way just a little bit. So I might have to kind of take some of those out. And I'm pretty sure they're going to be in my way while I'm moving stuff around anyway. But we're getting a pretty good amount of duckweed already. There's a leaf that fell off of a water sprite plant. These filters are running a lot slower than I remember just because of how clogged they got. I didn't remember them being this clogged. Maybe they got worse over the weekend. So yeah, I'm just gonna pull out some of the water sprite as I find it. Mostly just trying to get the duckweed out. So there's most of that. There's a snail, I'll take him out. So I had been selling the duckweed. I'm probably going to stop that just because I am now going to try and keep my tanks duckweed free, though I might try and keep duckweed in 1 or 2 tanks just so I have something to feed tilapia and maybe koi fish if I end up getting a koi fish pond here soon. So I'll just get a little bit more duckweed out just because I don't want it all up and down my arms as I'm working on this aquarium. Probably take my watch off too because that thing might get annoying. But yeah, there's a lot of duckweed in here. So probably get just a little bit more out. Heck, I guess I'll just keep going because I'm here, right? probably should have brought a bigger net. I didn't think it would take this long to get this duckweed out, but then again, I'm used to my tanks that aren't quite as long at home. Here's some more duckweed. You can see I just started and I already have a good amount of this stuff. That's probably more than I have to ship out anyway. Maybe I'll leave some in here just because it is a really, sorry, so it really does multiply quickly, and by having such a big start, I can, cultivate duckweed pretty quick. And it is good to feed goldfish and koi, so it might be nice having some of it around, but right now there's just too much and it's blocking a lot of the light of this aquarium, so nothing's really growing. At least not as nice as it should be growing. So I'm just skimming a little bit more of this off. Again, trying not to get all the water spray. And another big net full. That should be enough just to start with. So I'm going to take off my watch and we will get in here. So to start with, I think we're going to take out this submarine. Actually, no, let's start with the filters. So I'll take this filter off. Oh man, try and get this before all the dirt goes everywhere. You can already hear it running a lot better. But this is, wow, this is all duckweed on here. Duckweed and hair algae, it looks like. I'll just go over the trash can, kind of remove most of this. Rinse it off in my bucket over here. And that should be good enough to get back on. Well, all those little hairs floating around I think are duckweed roots. But yeah, they'll clean up as they go through the filter a little bit. So we have one more filter to deal with here. Again, bunch of duckweed and algae. Take all this off and throw it in the trash can. Oh, there goes that water. So put this guy back on. Oops. Okay, so now both hang on back filters are flowing again. That's always good. So the tank does look awful. I'm gonna start scooping a little bit more duck. Well, maybe I'll take off this. Take out all the water Sprite next. So I'll get this container here. And with this container, we will start moving water Sprite. I plan on putting the water Sprite back in, but this might be easier for me to work around since we're going to be getting into the bottom and all that. The big plants we might plant, I like, oh there's some guppy grass too. I usually like the water Sprite hanging, but sometimes if they're really big they do look good in the bottom. Just grab some of these little tiny water Sprite bits. I probably bagged some up with the duckweed, but that's okay. So again, we'll get some of this more guppy grass, and there's a whole bunch of little water Sprite, like starting, whatever they're called, seedlings or something. So we'll just throw all these in here with these bigger plants. More big water Sprite floating. More water Sprite. More water Sprite. There's a whole bunch of little tiny water Sprite plants here. I'm going to keep as many as I can just because I do like putting water spray in the aquariums because it does seem to wick out the extra like nitrites really well. Nitrites, whichever one it is. I can't remember which one's which a lot of the time. They're spelt too close together for me. Anyway, man, there is a lot of stuff up here. I'm getting a lot of duckweed in here, but it's mostly this floating water spray. There's some more guppy grass. I forgot with the filter flowing this hard that it is going to push the duckweed down, and I can already see a lot of that duckweed root that was floating around earlier or stuck on the filter is already back stuck on them. So I'm going to have to keep kind of pulling this hair off. Oh wow, yeah, that's... It might actually be ripping the roots off too as it's pushing. I just grabbed that off the clean filter. There's a whole bunch more. I think it is just roots from the duckweed. Real thin hairs. So we will put that down. This tank needs a top off too, but we are on city water and don't have any prepared water, so we either need to dechlorinate some or bring in an RO unit temporarily just to fill it up. I don't know which one we're going to do, but the water is pretty low right now. Wow, there are a lot of tiny water spray plants in here. I'll probably adjust my eBay store to sell them for either lower or sell more together, just so I can kind of get rid of some of these. Whenever I find out I have an abundance of something, I'll either lower the price or increase the quantity. And if I'm running low, that's when I know I need to increase the price or lower the quantity that I'm selling. And when I say quantity, I'm talking about how many I'm selling in one transaction. So right now, I think when I sell water spray, I'm selling it in groups of 3 plants. And I would be selling it in groups of probably 5 now that I know there's so many. But I'd only do that for a limited quantity just because I need to get rid of some of the extra. I'm really curious how many water spray plants got in this duckweed, because there are a lot of little tiny plants I'm looking at, and I probably got a lot of them in that duckweed. Well, I'll start by taking this plant out. This is one of those fake plant decorations, and it looks kind of dirty, but we'll take this guy out, and this will probably never go back in. Pop some of these snails off, get some of this Christmas moss and guppy weed out of it, guppy grass. There it goes. So that looks pretty good. There's some more Christmas moss, I'll just take that out. And she is out and probably will never go back in. So I'll put her down, it down. Maybe we'll grab this submarine, get all that extra duckweed off, and now the submarine is out. This will probably never go back in there. I'll grab this little fake plant. The substrate's a mix of sand, I think the Fluidville Eco substrate, and a little bit of gravel. So it's kind of weird looking. I got this fake plant out. This guy will never go back in there. We're going to leave this well because that looks pretty cool, because it's always spinning. I'm going to grab all this hair off again. Oh wow. I think there's even more on here than there was on that other guy. Looks like I really messed up by letting that filter suck stuff in before I was done clearing off all the duckweed. But wow, there's so much water spray mixed in here. I'll probably be at this for another 10 minutes or so, cleaning the duckweed and water sprite out. So we're going to take a break and come back when I'm done with that. Okay, and we are back. I ended up getting a whole bunch of duckweed out. I'd say there's only a few, well actually there's still a lot left, but it's not covering the top anymore, and it's probably only about 5 or 10% coverage, so that's great. And I got a little bit more water sprayed out, just these little tiny ones that will eventually grow to be big. So I think right now we are going to start ripping all the plants that are already here out, because we're going to move pretty much every... What is that? Oh, it's a little fish. I was thinking that was a weird shrimp that shouldn't be in here. There were only ghost shrimp in here and it kind of looked like a cherry shrimp. So I'm just going to start pulling some of the plants out. There's some wisteria here. Ooh, this has really good roots. That's actually really nice. Not sure what this was. Wisteria and some fern. These guys got super long, so we'll cut them down and end up replanting a lot of them. Wow, those guys aren't really good looking, but they definitely got big. I'll get this out of the way. This whole Coliseum's gonna come out. I'm gonna just pick the Java moss or Christmas moss off. It looked really good growing on it, but it's not going back in an aquarium, so it would just end up dying. So we'll just pick all these pieces off so we can reuse them in this aquarium. Oh wow, I didn't realize how much actually started growing on there. That's going to be really nice to have to put on some driftwood and just have that going. Okay, so I got most of that moss off. So we'll take this Coliseum out now. Make sure nothing's hiding in it. Oh, there's a whole bunch more moss. It looks like a little Anubis plant I brought in before. I don't remember what kind of Anubis. There's a whole bunch of moss on the back of this. Wow. Oh, guppy grass too. So just make sure nothing's living under it. Sure it would be gone by now if anything was. There were some dwarf crayfish in here at one point, but I think they left a long time ago. Man, I didn't realize how much waste was hiding under here. That smells really bad, and I'm gonna have to siphon that out. I had to siphon stuff out anyway, but I just disturbed a lot of that. Whew. It's a bad smell. Anyway, get the rest of this moss off. And, oh man, that's a big thing of gunk that just came off of that. But, yeah, we'll just take this out. Looks like I just let a bunch of air in the bubblers, so we'll let that drain. And then a bunch of stuff in here. Knock off a couple of snails that are left. It looks like all of those guys. And we will put this away to never return. There it goes. Okay, next we'll look at this plant. This should be real. I'll leave him. This is definitely fake. We'll rip him out. Never to see this tank again. Kind of like this tree, but it's not what we're going for. Oh, there's the Gara flavora and the Gara rufius. There's definitely stuff living in this tree, so I need to be careful taking this out. Make sure I scare them all off. There used to be ghost shrimp in all the branches. I haven't seen them in a while. Yeah, we'll just make sure everything gets out of that. Oh, yep, there was a snail. Oh, there's a big snail in here. Oh, this is just a shell, but, oh, you are giant. Yeah, we got this mystery snail here. He got big since we put him in. He's pretty, too. But, yeah, I'll put him back in the tank so I'm not disturbing him too much. Make sure there's no one else who's hiding in here. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so take the tree out to never return. Take this guy out without ripping it up too much. Some more guppy grass. This is gonna look pretty bad today. I'm gonna have to wait for the water to settle before it looks any better. We got a couple moss balls that get neglected. We don't really turn those as much as they should be, but it's crazy how long they can live. I'm probably gonna have to put a couple new filters in there. Maybe one filter from each aquarium. What's this? This is some hornwort. I think that's how you say it. I couldn't get this stuff to grow in my aquariums. I think it's ugly, but it grew pretty good in here. And then I got these guys in the corner. I might try leaving those. Is this real or fake? This is definitely fake. Take this out. The goal of this is just to have a fully planted aquarium instead of any fake decorations, just because they're not bad. It's just I think Peter and myself both like the fully planted aquariums better. We'll probably leave those guys there in the middle. They look pretty good, and that Anubis can stay there. Okay, now that everything's dirty, we will clear these filters again. I had to do that a few times when the camera was stopped because they just keep getting clogged by all this duckweed root. I think every time the filter would push the duckweed down, it would tear the roots off. So I should have taken the duckweed off before I got these running good, but too late now. Now I'm just going to siphon up some of this dirt. So get this ready. Let's see if I can make this look just a little cleaner. Oh, I thought I had a siphon going, I didn't. Come on. Sometimes I have a problem getting this thing to fully start. Let's try this one more time. Oh, I really hate these auto siphons. I just realized I have my good siphon here. Well, the shop good siphon, so we'll just use that. I've never really had luck with those regular gravel cleaners. Yeah, we got this guy. So, this is so much easier. And we'll just start pumping. And that siphon's already going, so much easier. Just get all this dirt out. Looks like there's some moss in here still. That's just gonna get stuck, and I'll have to clean out the little mesh net in here if it does. It looks like something already got stuck in there. So let's see what that is. Oops. No! Just some moss. We'll keep going now that that's out of here. And pretty much what I'm going to do is just get all this awful gunk out of the bottom. It's not breaking down. And we'll come back when it looks better. Because this will take me a little bit of time. Wow, that took a while. But I am done siphoning the bottom and cleaning the gravel. I got that pretty much where I want it. I'm going to be taking a couple of these guys home with me. Mainly the Gara Rufia and maybe the Cory cat. I've tried to get these guys before, but with all the decorations, they're kind of a pain, and I don't have a bigger net here. I probably should have done that. I'll probably leave the Gara Flavora, because he's really cool, but these Gara Rufia, I'm just going to put in my home tank so they can kind of chill out and stop messing with everyone. That is, if I can even get them. I really should have brought a bigger net for this. But once I plant this tank, it might be even harder to get them. So let's see if I can snag one of these guys. They're both over here now. Oh, you're so fast. Gosh, they're like bullets. And they're... Where did he even go? I don't know if I'm going to even be able to get him at all. He's a fast guy, and this net is actually way too small for him. Well, shoot. Wow, he slipped out of there. Oh. This is the biggest net we have here, though. I didn't bring anything bigger because I wasn't expecting him to be this difficult. Either of them, actually. There's two. But he likes to zoom away. Wow. There's one of them. Dang. Dang. I'm always way too gentle with these guys because I don't want to pinch them. But yeah, netting out fish is not one of my strong suits. Okay, here he goes, here he goes. I guess I'm probably not going to get him today. This was actually one of the reasons for me coming out and cleaning everything, was to finally get them out, but this net is not going to cut it. It's just hardly big enough to fit their body, let alone catch them while they're swimming away. Now I can't even see him with the murkiness of the water. Oh, there he is. Gosh, he is crazy. And I got him. Okay, that's one down. Ooh, he is a heavy boy. I did not expect him to be that heavy. There's one more in here. Let's see if I can get him real quick. But this is the bigger one, and I have a feeling he's going to be even harder to get. I'm going to take a break and come back when I get him. Well, that took a little bit of time, but I was able to get both of these guys out. So they'll go to my tank at home, join their buddies, because I have two more at home, and they should be pretty happy. So now I brought all of these plants from home. It's not much, but it will start growing, and hopefully this tank will start looking a little better. So we'll start with these guys. I actually don't even know what these are, but we're going to cut these down and plant them. And since they're so tall, they're going to make a really nice backdrop for this tank. Well, not really nice, but we're using what we have right now. So I'm going to start putting them in on this corner because this will be the ugly corner since no one looks here as much as they look in the front of the tank. So we'll plant some in the very corner. And we'll probably cut these into 3 pieces on each one just so we can get quite a bit of coverage going on. kind of make a wall of these. I really need to remember what these are called. This one's so long, I'll probably cut it up a little longer than 3 pieces. I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the great thing about a stem plant. I'm able to just cut these. They already have new roots growing in some of the spots, and they'll do good. Actually, this one it has so many roots. I might cut these a little. Actually, I'll cut the stems extra, because they have to grow new leaves anyway. That way we can just get a whole bunch of these going and make a real thick background. It will take a while for them to grow how I want them to, but we have time. So we'll plant that guy. This one looks like it already came out that I had planted. The substrate's not very deep on this tank. It's probably about an inch, so it's kind of hard for some of these to stay anchored. And I can't really even see what I'm doing just because the water is so murky right now. But I kind of know what I'm doing. So we'll just plant all of these towards the back. Actually, they're in the very back. And we'll put the leaf ones every so often. Maybe make it look a little better towards the middle of the tank with some leafier ones. Again, we'll cut, maybe just 2 here. This has some really nice roots going on. So hopefully it will grow quickly. We don't really dose this tank with anything. Every once in a while just put some flourish in, but for the most part it's really low tech. The light's not even that great, but it has been growing stuff. We're just a little limited to the plants that will grow. But like I said, we do have some anubis in here. We have some, hell, we don't really have much that's anything special. Just cheap plants that are really hardy so they grow. And for this tank, that's probably the only thing that will grow without doing a huge huge reorganization of it, bringing in maybe some CO2 and some other stuff, but that's not what this tank is set up to do. So now I'm getting some wisteria. Not quite sure what I want to do with this yet. Maybe we'll do a mid-ground in this ugly corner. I'm just going to cut these roots and hope that they propagate. Because, again, this wisteria got pretty tall too. So we'll just kind of throw these in the mid-ground of the back corner. There's some Flourish Excel around. So that should help it get all the nutrients it needs. I can't even see where I plant some of these right after I plant them. It's so murky. But, I'm just going to take a guess. And then, oh, maybe I couldn't see it because it got ripped out. So I'll put this more here where we can see it, because these are the planted sections. And then I'll leave the bare stems in the back, again, where no one's really noticing and they'll have some time to grow to be happy. We'll cut this guy up just a little bit. And plant all these as well. Oh, there goes the timer. So I'll just turn this light on manually so that we still have some light. Okay, what are we going to get into now? I have these guys from home. I'll probably start planting these all along the back of this side because they will grow quickly and they will get huge. Again, I actually don't even know what these are. I buy so many plants for my tanks at home that I start forgetting what I ordered. These might actually be the Rotunda Reds that never turn red for me just because I don't have the right balance of nutrients in my aquariums. Okay, we'll just start planting these on the back. They'll grow up to the top in a couple weeks and they should fill in quite nicely. I think these are the temple plants. We'll probably do this more in the mid section of the aquarium and behind this water wheel thing, because when those start growing in, they'll look nice. The only thing is this water intake's right here, and the leaves really like to be sucked in if they're too close. But I'm just going to try and keep them a little ways away. Get a little more of those duckweed roots out. But yeah, this should start looking good. I won't be able to see what it looks like until probably tomorrow, and I'll start maybe changing things a little bit depending on what it ends up looking like when it's clear. But I think for the most part, I'm going to be pretty happy with it. Get a few more of these temple plants. I might cut this one because it's a long root, long stem. And just put in a couple stems around here. Let those grow out. Put in a couple of the leaves on this side. And then, oh, here's some frog bit. I'll put that on top. This aquarium used to have frog bit. I haven't seen it in here for a while. All this temple plant came from my betta tank, my sorority. And it grows super fast in that tank. I have a pretty decent light on there, and that makes all the difference. What is this? What's that? I don't even know what this is. It's like a rock, but we didn't put any stones in here or a piece of wood. Whatever, I'll leave it be. See what happens. First I thought it might have been a dead snail. Just the shell, I should say. So I'll finish up with the temple plant. Probably about here. Get it around the wheel, and that should look pretty nice. Might end up moving this a little further back. I thought I was gonna like it there, but it's a little too far in the foreground for the amount of plants we have right now. Let's see, what else can I put in here? Oh, here's some more of that Rotunda Red. Like I said, I have a lot of this stuff that didn't grow. And then, I'm not going to be able to think of the name right now, but some of these guys too. I cannot remember the name. And then I should have some small sections of Java fern hidden in here. That's just guppy grass. So I'm going to cut this guy up and plant a whole bunch of these because I like watching them open and close. We'll probably put these in this far corner for now. I think that would look really good. So we'll just start planting these. One, cut, cut, cut. 2. What is this? Oh, here's one of those plants that didn't make it. Since this is low tech, we have had a few plants in here that just die off, sadly. Don't end up making it because they don't have the right balance, and neither one of us really are in here enough to do all the maintenance required to keep them growing. Though for the most part, we've had pretty good luck. And when I say in here enough, I'm talking about in the tank. Because this tank, since it's just a shop work tank, it is mostly to be seen and not messed with. So we'll put this guy back in here. Not exactly sure what that was either, but it should grow in. And then here's some more. Looks like the slugs have eaten this whole fern, but there might be a chance he comes back. Okay, I'm pretty much done with how I want to do this. The biggest thing I have left is just planting all of these. Like I said, I think it's the Rotunda Red. There's some other stuff laying in here, like nothing I can find, I guess. I'll have to go through it. What is that? Is that another temple plant? No. Maybe. I gotta look at it a little more. But I'm gonna put some more Anubis in the front, some Java Fern, and then just kind of leave it, let it clear out, and tomorrow we'll see how I like it, maybe rearrange it a little bit. Yeah, I'll finish this up and come back. Sweet. So I got everything planted pretty much how I want it. I'm missing a couple foreground plants just because I don't have enough with me. I always underestimate how big this tank actually is. So right now the last thing I want to do before leaving is put in these homemade fertilizer pellets. There's some tutorials online, but pretty much it's just a plant fertilizer in pill capsules. So I'm going to put some of these in around the plants, and then I'll call it a day. Come back tomorrow and see what it looks like. So pretty much all I do is I just grab one pill, figure out where I want it, and plop it down in the sand. And that one got away from me, but it's usually pretty easy. These pill bottles, pill capsules will deteriorate, which is the whole point of them. So you got to do it. You have a pretty good amount of time, but you definitely don't want to be slow. So I'll just grab a handful, pinch one, plop it in. The spacing's not too crucial as long as it's within maybe 6 inches or so of the plants. So I'm just going to do more or less a zigzag pattern that should provide nutrients to all of these plants that need it. And before we didn't even use any fertilizers, so this is just kind of a step up, and it should definitely bring some better results than not using fertilizer at all. So there's another. Maybe I'll put one back here. The soil might not be quite deep enough for this. I'm kind of afraid they'll release it into the tank quicker than normal. But I am putting these very deep all the way on the bottom. So even with about 1 to 1.5 inches of media on the bottom, that should be fine. And I definitely want to make sure I get it close to all of this Anubis, because the Anubis already grows pretty slow. At least in this, in all the setups I have. Oh, dropped one in the tank. Grab that before it puts fertilizer all over the tank. And then just have a handful left. It's really thin here, but I'll try and Yep, right there on the bottom. Put this back with all these guys. And I just realized I didn't really get anything in this front corner at all. I'll probably try and find something at home to bring in. But for right now, we're just going to put this no fishing sign back in. So this will be the only fake plant aside from the ones on the well. And even those I tried to cover up with some Java moss. So put this search 'em tag back on with an ammonia alert. Those are kind of cool. Don't really need it, but sometimes they're nice to have. I'm trying to figure out where I'll put this. I'll just put this back. Actually, I'll put it over by the thermostat. So that will be pretty nice. Okay, all that's left is fill this thing back up with water and then see how it looks tomorrow. But right now I'm hungry, so I gotta go home and eat. So let's go cook. Okay, now I'm back home and I need to make some dinner. So I'm gonna start some rice and I'm gonna be making a chicken dish tonight. I'm gonna be making it pretty much to prep for the next couple days because I probably won't have time to eat. And I'm debating whether to make this butter chicken curry or the tikka masala curry. I know I like masala, so I'll probably try the butter chicken and just see how that goes. But today was really busy. I only meant to spend maybe an hour or so at the shop working on that fish tank. Ends up I was there for just over 2.5 hours. But I think that tank's going to look a whole lot better when everything grows in and, of course, when all those floating particles settle. Because right now it still doesn't look that great, but, you know, it will get there. I'm probably not going to use all this chicken because I will use some of it for a stir fry, and I'll probably actually make that tomorrow as well. Because today I went out to the garden and I picked these zucchinis. So before these go bad, actually I picked this one today, this was a few days ago, but before these go too bad, I'm going to need to cook those. So I'll probably do that tomorrow, do some chicken, broccoli, cauliflower, water chestnuts, and that should be about it. That will be pretty good. But yeah, today was pretty eventful. Maybe not eventful, but it was successful. I was able to sell a mirror that I had just listed the other day, got maybe $25 for that. Sold a Bowflex for $100-something. I sold a couple dollars worth of plants on eBay, and I thought there was one other thing I sold, but I can't remember that right now. But I got a couple things lined up for tomorrow. I'm probably going to be listing my truck, so I'm going to need to clean that out and get that ready to list. And I'll probably have to work on my pressure washer too because the carburetor is completely gone on that. So tomorrow I'll be doing a lot of mechanical work. I'm also getting my buddy's 55-gallon tank. It's set up for salt water right now. I'm going to bring that into the fish room. I don't really have a place for it. I didn't want 55-gallon tanks in there. I'll set it up more for small tanks. But one way or another, I'll figure out a place to put that 55-gallon. And I got to figure out if I'm going to keep it salt water or change it over to fresh water. But I'll cook this. I thought I'd be able to fit a little bit more chicken in that pan. That is a little depressing, but I have bigger pans. I just didn't think I'd need them. And I'm going to save some of this chicken for tomorrow. So I'll just bag that up. Well, this is probably going to be the end of my day. I need to get on eBay and do another few things. I need to go to the post office for a few reasons. Not just to ship all my orders throughout the weekend, but I also need to ship the few orders from the store because you guys love to order shirts and stickers, it seems like. And every time we get an order on the store, I'm pretty happy because that means that, you know, someone actually wants the merchandise. And that's really cool. Like, I'm really glad we can offer you guys merch. And, you know, when you buy it, it's, you know, I'm kind of like, oh, cool, someone else wants some merch. We don't get many orders, but, you know, it's pretty cool every time we get one coming in. So anyway, I'm going to cook my food, get that ready, and get ready for tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this video wasn't too long. And, you know, I hope you enjoyed some of it. So, see you guys. And that looks like it's going to be delicious. I figured I should show you guys what it looks like before I end the video. But I'm going to go, I got to figure out what the market's doing right now so I'm ready in the morning to start trading. And if you want to see what I'm doing in the market, follow my Facebook page. The group link will be in the description. So thank you guys again, and I will see you later.